with Family Type Editor allows you to bulk update several rows to tens of thousands of rows of data, all in a matter of seconds. The program has a command bar on the left-hand side that will follow you as you proceed down the list. So you always have your tools quickly available to you. You can also go ahead and filter all of your data to work on it while you work on information to only pick what you want to have. And we'll also go back and remove filters in place here, clear the back out. So you can go back and filter data, you can sort data, you can move columns around, you can do multi-level sorting of data. And at this point here, let's go ahead and copy our information. Let's just grab these three. So we're going to copy that data. You select it, copy that to the bottom. And we go to the bottom here, you'll see that all information we picked has now been brought to the bottom. It's also been highlighted, so which means there's a duplicate value associated in this existing table. Once you change information over to something different and it's no longer duplicate, it will no longer be highlighted. And once you put it back in here, for example, you'll see that it's actually highlighted again because there is a duplicate value in place. Revit will not allow duplicate type names to be imported. It will take the very first one. So therefore, we have this feature in place here. Let's go back now and delete that information, pick current, delete those rows, those are removed. Same feature works for the columns. Now we can also, let's go through a couple more of the tools associated with the Family Type Catalog Editor. You can also add and remove prefix values. So if I want to go back and pick here, let's add a prefix. It's going to highlight all the text-based names. So in this case, these are all your other fields. So in this case here, let's just grab this type name in place here. Let's say I want to have some prefixes to some of these. Click OK. I'll do BM for BIM modular, assign that. Now we have all of our prefix values associated. If I want to remove any prefix or suffix values, I'll just click remove and go through here, pick what I want to have, give it also the same thing we want to remove, and then we can modify that accordingly. You can also go back and do is conversion of foot inch and using a measure conversion. So let's just go ahead and, for example, throw in just for two of these here, and I'll delete them afterwards here. And what we're going to do is, let me just resize this table real quick here. And we're going to now convert foot and inches. So we have 60 different measurements for foot and inch conversions right here. You can pick what you want. So in this case, I'm going to pick the inch decimal to foot inch fraction. And you can pick the quality, how detailed you want that conversion to happen. And we'll go ahead and now do the conversion. And we're going to pick our inch column right here. And we'll come back across here now and place it where we want to have it. And we've now updated and created all of our foot and inch measurements for our table. So this is great when you want to publish data back into your type catalogs as maybe text-based environments, or if you want to use some of these for loading into your type catalog as actual measurements, you can do that as well. Same for area. If I want to go back in here and do a measure conversion, and I've got this area inches, I'm going to make that into area square feet, for instance. It's set for right now imperial to imperial. You can pick imperial metric. I get my square inches, square feet. I can do my precision I want. I can add a symbol in place here. I convert that data. So I can get back in here now and pick my area, place that, accept it, go right here, assign it. And now I have all of my square foot values associated for the entire column, every single one of my family types. We also have here to the side here too the ability to set up the default type. So when you export out default types, if anything in here is marked, it will pick the very top row. Or you can come back in here, just very simply select items you want that are going to you want as part of your default type catalog that is loaded in your family, and then the family will read the type catalog above and beyond these default loaded categories. So give it any character you want, and now you create your multi default type catalog. You can also be able to, let's go back, and if I want to change the information here, I can do find and replace. So let's say I want to go ahead and just grab that SF here, right here. I'm going to go ahead and look at my formulas. I'm going to select some cells. Let's go ahead and just do part of this here. I can go and do select a new area. Let's pick part of this. We're going to do our rows across, and let's go ahead and highlight their zones, and let's search that it was compliant. So right here, it did find those information, those formulas that had the SF value in place here. Let's go ahead and actually select everything in here. Let's go ahead and change that information. And I want to change that from square foot over to, say, let's just change that over here to, let's grab some right here, paste that, and I want to maybe change that to millimeters square. And that's actually my formula. And we're going to have now a preview to show you exactly what we're changing and doing. We'll go ahead and replace those values, click OK. and I've selected also go ahead and do all the entire rest of the column. I've now converted that whole column over to a new formula and new suffix value all in one push. So you can also go back in here and do conversion checking. So if you have a new catalog, you want to make it into an old catalog to work with old families, I'm just going to press this once. It's going to go through the headers and rename everything to be compliant to old standards of Revit for 2010 to 2020. If you have an old catalog, you want to make it into a new catalog from 2021 to current. Same thing here. Go back and just press this once. It's going to update the headers to be compliant to the new standards for Revit. We also have error checking. Error checking allows you to go in there and check for everything, and it's going to color code where are the problems with your table, so you can be able to investigate everything in your type catalog before you export it back into Revit, which minimizes any of those issues we've all faced with errors in our type catalog modifications. So just go ahead and press this one time. You can see everything we have. Obviously, we don't have the right headers shown right here. This is okay, but it's actually an old way of doing it. So you can choose if you want to update this to be more compliant to the latest standards of Revit for your header type. And at this point here, once you've done a spot check of your entire catalog, just go back in there and just remove your highlights in place, and then you're ready to go. I'll go and delete these as well too. So delete these columns. We'll just select the ones we have picked and delete those columns out. And we're clean, and I'll just do resize the table, make sure we're good, and export it out, and we're ready to load this modified data back into Revit.